be all about what happens when being a great mom is no longer enough, right?
At that moment where it was like everything she was doing, and as valuable as what she was doing was, there's going to be something more.
And she was able to step in this journey while having a big family with seven
Yeah,
kids.
7
Yeah,
kids.
yeah.
I have none, and Olga has 1. I cannot even fathom 7, so more power to Jamie. If I remember correctly, she was dealing with some health issues, but there was a little something that happened, wasn't there, Olga?
Yeah.
Post-production, I realized.
What could that be? Tell us. So, on this podcast, you'll see the image of me and our guest, but no image of Rachel.
Nope, so this is what you got right here. All right, so Jamie Mleko has quite a mosaic of a life history, and we're here to talk about, as always, the messy middle, the moment where things begin to pivot for you, what that looked like, what it still probably looks like. There are a lot of women out there that will resonate with not only your story, but the phase of life that brought you to this point, those pivotal moments and decisions that you've made. So,
Okay, yeah. So growing up, I always wanted to be a mom. I think there's a lot of women or young girls like that, right? We play maybe Barbies or baby dolls, and we just want to be a mom. And I wanted to be a mom. I also, through the years, discovered, in high school, they really push you college and what do you want to do in college? At least back when I grew up, college was a lot more of a thing than maybe what is nowadays, where there's more options than just college. And so I was like, oh, I want to be a social worker. I want to help people. So, and I wanted to get married. I just wanted a man to love me. So, I mean, obviously that goes with having kids, right? So yeah, I did. Met my husband in college, and we just started having children, and I was able to fulfill my dream of being a mom. Actually had 7 children. My oldest actually on the 31st just turned 26. So I know I look like I'm 26. Not really. But they're so much fun. And yeah, so I feel like I really got to fulfill that part of my dream. For a long time, I homeschooled my children as well. So, and we were a military family. So, we were moving a lot, and my family was like my everything. I was really just engrossed in raising my kids the best that I could. You kind of lose yourself in that. Like I'm doing my best as a wife, and I'm trying to do my best as a mom, and you maybe forget who you are. You're not maybe taking care of yourself. Really, like, how are you actually taking care of yourself? Getting back to living some of those other dreams that you had besides.
so moving a lot, being in a military family, it must have been hard to feel like you could really anchor down anywhere. Would that be accurate?
I feel like I was really resilient with it. Like, I feel like I really loved it and enjoyed it, honestly. But, and I would just really, I was very, I guess, intentional, which is weird because when I was a kid, I was shy. And if you put me in a room with a lot of people I don't know, I will probably be that person that's over there by the wall. But I just really would put myself out there a little bit, whether it be at church or with like a neighbor, and just find my person or my people. Because that was important to me, relationships and friendships. And, with homeschooling, I kind of had a community through that where we would live. I think it's the older that we get and the older that our kids get, where it really gets hard trying to find your people in your place. Like, that's kind of probably one of my biggest struggles right now, but just being in the Middle Ages.
Middle Ages, that's good. Well, there is kind of a renaissance happening right now, isn't there? Culturally, globally. What was modeled for you in terms of that ability to acclimate And where did that come from? Did your parents model that, or is that something that Jamie just found within herself?
I don't think it was very well modeled per se. I love to read. I like to read a lot about our minds and our thinking and our mindset. And I just started a new book yesterday, and as I'm reading and I'm going back to like my childhood through reading this book about because your core beliefs, right? I had a really good mom. She was awesome, and she has loved me unconditionally. I'm an only child, so I went from an only child to seven children. But I was kind of the kid that was teased in my family and teased in school. And so, yeah, like I shared, like I just kind of held back. And I don't really know what caused me to be that person to put myself out there. If it was just, I have to survive, I have to figure this out. I'm a Christian, I'm a believer. And so learning my identity through Christ, which is an everyday process and battle of my mind, but yeah, really just having to ground myself, I think, in that truth over the years. And as my relationship with Jesus has really just transformed and grown that.
So, what was motherhood like?
So at the beginning, it was so fun. It's been a challenge. Oh my gosh. People always say, oh, the years go fast and enjoy them. And that's 100% true. I really think I was in a survival period. I think I was in a survival mode in my life, with all the kids and the homeschooling and moving. And, my husband didn't deploy a whole lot, but he loves to learn. And so I feel like he was always like holed up somewhere studying when he wasn't at work. And then like I'm losing my mind taking care of these kids. I don't know. Like I feel like I look back and it just seems like a blur. And sometimes you look back and I'm like, holy cow, did I really like live through all of the things that I like went through as a mom? And even now I have young adults, teenagers, and my youngest is 9. And so there's just a lot of, I want to say drama, because like my 4 youngest are girls, and so there's a lot of drama. But definitely blessings, like they're my pride and joy. And the honesty is like it really felt like survival a lot.
Yeah.
So maybe this episode will be all about what happens when being a great mom is no longer enough, right?
Right, right. And that's something like as moms, like we put our identity in our kids. They fail, then we feel like we fail, right? Like maybe our kids don't always live up to our expectations of what we wanted for them. And so then working through, I think, not beating ourselves up, which was really hard for me to just our identity to get so thrown into them that we lose ourselves and, and then we can feel like we failed if something goes wrong.
Who you are now, you say you are independent associate with Trenant. Is this a contractor position?
So I have like my own like online franchise with the company. Like it's a company in the network marketing space, and so we have different distributors or associates. Honestly, my journey into the network marketing space began 20 something years ago when I first joined the company. And then about 14, I kind of launched into something for myself. So I had 6 kids at the time and still was homeschooling. This opportunity just kind of just appeared. I love the products. I love the mission. Why don't I go do this? Maybe I can bring in some extra income, and this is something that I can do for me. That one yes for myself, and I joined like 2 days after my birthday. Like so it really just changed me. And I would never get on a podcast. If you were to go back and look at me back then, I would have been like, no. So just the confidence and, just shaping me getting into that space.
And the
So
network, sorry, go ahead, Olga.
So what did it feel like to realize that being a mom wasn't the whole story of who you are.
I transformed into another part of who God created me to be. He made me to be more than um, a caretaker to my family because, I mean, he's given all of us a story. He gives us all a story and wants to use it. But I'm thankful that he's given me the avenue that he gave me.
So, how did you find yourself integrating gifts that you were divinely given and your personality and all those things? How did you find yourself integrating that into this opportunity that presented itself? And tell us a little more about what these products and services are, because I don't think you've actually mentioned that here yet. Just
Yeah.
describe why all this? What drew you to this?
I think just really, like I said, I like to read. And so really just growing in my faith journey, listen to these podcasts and other podcasts that really can motivate you, and getting around people who can maybe encourage you. I know when, like I shared, like I really grew in confidence, and I will never forget where I was sitting the day that I realized I I was borrowing the belief in myself from my friend, from my upline, and I'll never forget where I was when I realized that I finally had that belief in myself. And I don't know what it was that, like, I don't know that there's any like box you can unwrap to really discover. I think it's just taking a step forward in faith and in fear sometimes, and just going with maybe what you feel you're led to do. But I didn't realize there were other gifts that we have, right? You know, and with my desire to do social work, and I never did go into that as a career, but really wanting to help people and impact people. And, you know, primarily women, just being able to impact people in their lives, is just huge for me. You know, whether it's like through encouraging people or the products. Yeah, the company is called Trinant. Just happened to see a friend's post about her nails and collagen. And so I tried the collagen, and yeah, it seemed like it worked well for my hair and my nails. And then like a couple months later, I realized I didn't have this particular joint pain that I had been experiencing for a long time, where I had done everything other than a shot. I'd done everything. I've worn a boot. I was physical therapy, and it was like a couple months after I started that collagen where I was like, oh my gosh, like I don't have that pain anymore. And it's been almost 3 years since I had that pain. Sharing them with my friends, and for them being able to, you know, really wean off of, you know, some of them have been able to wean off of a lot of painkillers. These are all natural plant-based products. I guess I forgot to share that.
That's okay.
But I just get so excited
You're
about
doing great.
how they
You're
work.
doing great.
So yeah, they really just transform people's lives. I love to share that.
Money wasn't something you had growing up, and so I'm guessing that there might have been some reluctance around talking to people. Um, Maybe you could share some of those mindset shifts that you had to go through to get to where
I
you
mean, I
are.
didn't maybe realize growing up, you know, how, I don't want to say poor, because we weren't poor. Like I had a roof over my head and whatever, but I didn't realize how financially strapped my mom was because my parents divorced when I was young. Um, she didn't share that with me. I think a lot of times when we're in Christian circles, we hear how bad having a lot of money can be. Money is definitely, well, is an objection for a lot of people, right? They'll say, well, I don't have the money for, I hate that we put a price on our health because I'd rather take care of my health now than down the road in 10, 20 years deal with a problem that's going to be more, you know, costly. The more money you have, and this is something I have to keep telling myself because I grew up in that other mindset, right? Like there you have more options. The more money you have, the more options you have. I want to be able to give more. I think the number one thing on my bucket list is actually to take a mission trip to Africa. That definitely is a mindset shift. And you get that a lot from people. Like, I am not a salesperson. I think it helps to be passionate about what you are, I like to say, sharing. And I'm not gonna go try to sell you something I don't like or share with you something I don't like. But we're always sharing with people, right? Like, oh my gosh, have you tried this new coffee place down the street? Like, it's amazing. You got to go check it out. Like, we're always sharing that with people. And I tell people it's like no different. But yeah, at first I was a little apprehensive. Yeah, it was kind of a struggle. Like, honestly, I think for a long time. And it was just having to just get over that fear and keep doing it. And now with these products, um, being that they're all natural health and wellness, it depends on who you're talking to. Like sometimes there's apprehension still with certain people because so I'm not like
Yeah.
there yet where I can just go talk to everybody.
Mm.
Um, but just having that passion and knowing they work and they can help people, you know?
Yeah.
Um,
They have a belief that money mirrors so many other aspects of our thought life. You know, and if our inner dialogue, judging ourselves or just unhealthy in any way, stories about money are just going to keep being a problem. But you overcame that and beautifully in a transformation space. Like, what would you say to someone who is perhaps thinking about starting a business that has to do with the transformation space and maybe they're struggling with this very thing? Do you have any thoughts or comments that you'd like to share for someone who might be struggling with that?
you just have to kind of get over not thinking about yourself. There's more value in something that costs whatever. But if I'm investing in, first of all, investing in ourselves is very important so that we can invest in other people. But if I'm putting the investment in, then I'm going to show up. And then that also shows the commitment to yourself. Like,
Yeah.
do that service for yourself.
Yeah, I love our conversation.
Yeah.
It's really interesting. And I really like this point when you're saying that you had to stop borrowing beliefs from other people's and you had to start to believe in yourself. I would like you to tell us more about that, how looked like for you, how you started to own that belief and actually stepped into it fully.
First, I had accountability, which is very important, whether you're, you know, accountability in your faith journey, accountability through, life coaching, business. I have accountability person for my business. I had a tracker that okay, I would tell her like, these are my goals for the week. Why is it so much easier to disappoint ourselves? But I didn't want to disappoint somebody else. So I did the work that I said I was going to do. And as I did the work, I started showing up more. You got to take the steps to really just grow the confidence. If you're not going to take the steps, you're not going to change and grow. You can't just sit stagnant and wish that it's going to happen. You got to do something about it. And so that's what I was doing. I was just doing the work.
One step in time, right?
Yeah, a lot of people are lonely out. I looking at a picture on my wall, and I can't necessarily talk about this whole experience that I got to go do on this mountain event I was invited to almost 2 years ago. There was something that I was asked to do, and it was terrifying. Like most people probably would not do this thing. And everybody in my group, there was maybe like 15 other women. They went and they did it, and some did it through tears. And I'm just sitting on the ground, like, there's no way I'm doing that. I don't know why this story makes me cry every time I talk about it. And we had some like facilitators there for the day, and I had known who this one particular guy was, but I hadn't met him until that day. And all I did was look at him, and he just gave me this look. And it was like this look of like, he didn't say a word, but it was like a look of like confidence, like, I believe you can do this. And there was
Mhm.
just something about that. See, it tears me up because it was so powerful. And I was like, I was like a little kid. I was like, oh, fine, I'll do it. And I did it and felt so empowered. And but I will never forget, like, I don't know if he knows the impact that he has had, I mean, to this day, you know, and to just have that person in your corner and like to go find that person if you don't have that person, because there's people out there.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Beautiful experience. And
Yeah.
what changed for you in that moment?
I think I didn't want to disappoint somebody. And then also, I didn't want to miss out on the experience. So
Mm.
taking the step, because I was like, well, I didn't want to miss out. I could kind of see, like, oh, I know what I need to do the correct way in order to make this work easier. It was very empowering.
And what is one lesson from your journey that could help other women navigating the change, maybe?
If you're feeling stuck, what the messy middle, but we all have messy seasons, and it's like this roller coaster, right? And
Mm.
realizing that, don't stuff it, don't hide from it, but face it. Everybody's facing a battle, but we all have our different difficulties at all points in our life. You know, sometimes it's just messier than other times. Not facing that alone and finding, you know, whether it is a life coach, whether it is going to church, people and community, I think.
Thank you for being so vulnerable with us in this interview. I imagine it's going to be tough. I know it's the first time you've shared it on a podcast, and I really value and appreciate your courage here. You've been through many battles in your life. What would you say helped you come away with some of the most valuable lessons you could impart to
Holding strong. For me, I shared with you, Rachel, last year was like my one of my really hard years. And but I remember years and years ago going through something hard and I wanted like give up on my faith. I was I was done. I was like, this is pointless. And thankfully, you know, there was something that like rescued me, like, nope, nope, come on, come on. And through trials in life that we have, just continually clinging to that faith. Um, for me, continuing to cling and grow, and that's what's helped me. And it's not always pretty. Like there's many moments where I just have to put on a song that's going to speak to my heart, you know, because that's all I can do. Like I'm angry, I'm hurting, and I just put on a song, like a Jesus song. Like our perspective is huge. And I said a little bit earlier about like mindset and really learning to shift our mindset and really focus on the beauty and the positive things. Even if it's just one little positive in your hard season, there's always one thing at least.
I like what Brene Brown said years ago, which is honor your own battle. Everybody has a threshold of pain and tolerance. Yeah, to have faith outside yourself and but also belief in yourself because the two go together, right? Your spiritual life has everything to do with manifesting out into your business. It's going to one way or the other, whether you're religious or not. Just I applaud you for everything you've already come through and purposing to stay on mission with helping other women, and sharing with them your story, as tough as that might be sometimes, and showing up to what you do in just your daily life, taking risks. You know, we say often in this industry, whenever you feel like you're not ready, do it anyway. Do it scared. Courage isn't the absence of fear, it's action in spite of it. And you've taken action after action, despite how you've felt, despite what your internal dialogue may have been telling you from old stories and whatnot. And so I applaud you. So what is next for you in business?
I would love to make more. I was sharing with one of my kids last night in the car because she was saying, ma'am, you have been working a lot. And I'm like, I know. I have to put the work in to change things for our family. You know, my husband put in 20 years in the military and he's still working various jobs. And while I love and appreciate that, like I don't want him to always have to work, and I want options for my family. I've had this desire in my heart for a long time, really, and like making an impact through my business and but really just working with women, some sort of ministry. I don't know.
Mhm.
I'm not
You're,
really sure, but
yeah,
I just
you're
am
open. You
open.
feel something.
Yeah,
You feel a
yeah,
pull towards something. You're just not sure what yet. I know
right.
what that's about. Well, as you keep, I always come back to that, remember the Indiana Jones movie? I think it was the second one, where he had to step out into this chasm and there was no stairway, there was no ladder, there was no bridge. But every time he made a step appeared, like out of thin air. And sometimes life is like that, right? We don't know, okay, I feel like I need to go this way, but there's nothing to get me from here to there that I can see. And then you start taking a step and things just align.
Yeah,
And that's a
yeah.
word we love to use, Olga and I. How about it, Olga? You have any follow-up questions for Jamie?
Yeah, I really love this part. I can see you're not done yet. You're still evolving. You're still having goals. You're still having this pull on. You're not done. This is again another middle where you actually need to find a way where you can earn more, but on the other hand, you can also take care of yourself and find something that not drains you, but empowers you and um, that guides from your heart, not from your mind and from the struggle and hustle and marketing hard and doing more and posting more. I don't know. This is like a discovery phase,
Yeah.
to find something real, right?
Yeah. And like you said, like we're always in these, we don't stop growing until we're no longer breathing. So I don't want to be, my husband made a comment because I keep getting all these library books about like I said, your mindset and things. And he's like, made a comment like, are those actually helping you? And I'm thinking, well, I would hope so. I mean, I feel like I'm growing. Like maybe you don't see it, but like in here and in here, I know
Mm.
that I'm growing and I'm learning how to change my thoughts,
Yeah.
um, not self-sabotage or, and yeah, we always have daily challenges. Maybe we have negativity around it. I mean, the world is a negative place for crying out loud. Continually growing and being positive and not being stuck in the muck.
Yeah, there's a balance to the honesty and vulnerability, looking in the mirror, seeing, okay, this I can grow here. I can do this differently. And at the same time not self-loathing, not turning that into something that comes from a place of despair. That's where a lot of times people can really hurt themselves, and I've done it, is to just recognize, these are areas I need to grow in, and just not loving yourself through that, but being intentional about, keeping a higher frequency in thought, in deed, being more conscious about what those thoughts are, because everything we do is often coming from a place where it's in our subconscious. We don't even realize why we're doing what we're doing. And so to be more conscious of those decisions we're making, not to be judgmental, but to just be aware and course correct, and like you said, have people that speak into your life in these different ways, that you can trust, that you can be real with, that'll remind you who you are when you've forgotten. So, what could we ask you that we haven't asked you yet? Because we're coming close to the hour here.
Oh, I don't even know. I know, wasn't that one of your questions? Like, what is something we can ask on our podcast? I'm like, I don't know.
That's okay. I ask almost everybody that, no matter what I'm doing, right, Olga?
Yeah, that's true.
I think this has been fantastic. And again, thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed your time as much as we enjoyed having you with us, our
I
first
definitely
guest.
did.
Great,
Yeah, I really did enjoy it.
great.
It was fun. I've never done this before, and so I feel honored that you would even ask me. I'm glad that we did connect before a couple of months ago or whenever it was, and really, um, yeah, thank you for seeing something in me, because sometimes we don't see those things in ourselves, right? And
Mhm.
so you saw something in me that I could bring value to other people is pretty cool.
You
Yeah,
absolutely can and
thank
do.
you. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Thank you so much for everything you shared.
yeah.
It was really honored to talk to you.
Yeah, thank you, Olga. I appreciate it.